So today we're going to be talking about why narcissists are so mean. If you love this content, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. This way, every time I upload a new video, you'll be the first to know. So today we're going to be discussing why narcissists are so mean and see if we can unravel what that means. When we're thinking about relationships, we have to understand a couple of basic ideas in that if you're in a healthy relationship, your partner has goodwill for you. Your partner sees you as someone who is flawed, and that's okay. In other words, we all have our deal breakers. I have mine. I know what I will tolerate and what I will not tolerate in a relationship. I also know what I deserve and what I don't deserve in a relationship. So after almost 57 years of life on this planet, I finally figured out and started to figure out about 40 to 45 years old, what was healthy and what was unhealthy, and really got clear about my value and my worth as a human being. But I also understood that I was not perfect. In fact, I was very flawed. And part of my self-actualization process, and I think it's the same for all of us, is learning to accept that we're not perfect. The ability to recognize yourself as flawed and imperfect is really a gift. As long as you're not going down a rabbit hole because you're not perfect. Like you really understand that this is a process of evolution and you're unfolding, and your younger self just didn't know certain things. And that with age comes experience and thus wisdom. So the person that is speaking to you today and what is falling from my lips today would not have been able to fall from my lips when I was 27 or even 37. I was starting to get a clue around then. But really, it's the life experience that has taught me the most. And being reflective and recognizing my own flaws, like I said earlier, and recognizing that human beings, in fact, are flawed, and that's okay. And then deciding from a position of self-love and self-respect what I will and will not tolerate in a relationship with other people. Knowing that other people are flawed just like I am. Having boundaries. Now, when dealing with a narcissist, we are understanding that narcissists don't have that ability to do that. They are black and white thinkers. So in the beginning of a relationship, you will be idealized. Why? Because the more the narcissist believes you're awesome, the better the narcissist feels about themselves. So it's not about you. Over time, the narcissist will discover that you have flaws just like everyone else, and they will cease to see value in you. You will become the enemy. You will become a threat simply because they have run out of steam. They see you and they're beginning to understand that you are just like everybody else. And now they have no value for you. There's no value in you. No reason to keep you around. We have to also recognize that narcissists are super, super, super sensitive. And I don't mean sensitive to the needs of other people, sensitive in the sense that it makes them more empathic human beings and capable of understanding how other people feel. I'm talking about sensitive to the point where they are hypervigilant and tuned up for criticism. And so it's really easy to offend someone who has high narcissistic traits. Someone who is easygoing and you bump into them and they're okay. Someone who is easygoing, you poke fun at them a little bit and they roll with it, they laugh with it, they don't take it too personally. Not so when we're dealing with someone who has high narcissistic traits. So it's important that we remember that a narcissist by nature is ultra, ultra sensitive. They're scanning the room looking for the person who might be slighting them. So that's important to remember. They also live in fear. So they are in protective mode most of the time. So it's almost like they are expecting someone to hurt them. So imagine if you're dealing with someone who is super, super sensitive, super, super defensive, in protection mode, and who needs to see themselves as better than other people. Imagine falling short in some capacity with this person. This person is going to have an extreme reaction to you. You see, they're going to believe that any slight by you was meant to intentionally harm them because they can't see you as a whole person who is flawed, who is going to have a good day and then a bad day. You are there to serve the needs of a narcissist. So when you fall short on any level, to them, there's going to be an extreme reaction, and they will be mean and they will be vindictive. So we're talking about someone who is highly sensitive, highly insecure, and is in need of your affirmation, your validation, your constant positive mirroring. Now, when you don't do that, when you can't maintain that level of affirmation and positive reinforcement because you have a life and you don't feel well, or you've got bills to manage or kids to take care of, the narcissist feels this as a slight. She's not paying attention to me. And they will now seek a source of narcissistic supply elsewhere. They also have to blame you for why they're doing this. They take your inability to shine affirmation their way as an attack. And that also lends to why they are so mean. Narcissists lack empathy. There's a sense of entitlement, and they are generally exploitative. This is why they're so mean. You are created on God's earth to manage them, to give them what they need. And when you don't, you have no value to them. And so they discard you. They devalue you. They demoralize you. Why? This feeds into their need to feel dominant, and they need to punish you because of the way they're feeling. What's really frustrating for a victim of narcissism, someone who is dealing with this personality, is that you put so much effort into the relationship, and then all of a sudden you get a text and an email or phone call, or you are confronted by someone's idea that you are nothing, that there's something that you said, there's something that you did or you didn't do, and now you are garbage. They don't have whole object constancy, which basically means that I can experience you as someone who's flawed, and you can disappoint me in this moment, but I'm able to see that we have this history together. And I don't forget the good. But when you slight a narcissist, or at least disappoint a narcissist, it feels like an attack. They go into this, they have an inability to experience whole object constancy. And now it's black and white thinking. They've been triggered, and now they must devalue you. So when we're dealing with someone who feels attacked on the daily, they fear being attacked, we have to recognize that in their mind, anything that is perceived as a slight is going to be perceived as an attack. They go into full-on victim mode. Dealing with someone who positions themselves as a victim day in and day out is exhausting. You can't win that battle. Relationships are difficult enough to navigate, but when you're dealing with someone who is always the victim, that means you are always the one in the wrong. Always. And you will spend your life defending yourself. And if you stay with this person long enough, you can feel like you're losing your mind because you're being attacked over and over and over. And your intentions are being attacked. You're being told why you do what you do, and it's a complete fabrication. Another reason that narcissists are so mean is because in some cases, hurting you gives them a sense of power. And that's really something to be aware of. There are some people who genuinely enjoy hurting other people's feelings, watching them squirm. And this is really so hard as a human being to be in a circle of friends or be a family member, and you know that there's that one uncle or that there's that one sibling who you know that this person is just going to attack the person who they see as weak, or they're going to attack what this person has said, pull it apart, be confrontational, and embarrass them, especially if the person that they're attacking is someone that other people are praising. Because attacking them makes them feel better. So that's another reason why narcissists are so mean. So if you're dealing with a narcissist at work, it's important to remember that narcissists don't have empathy for your feelings. They don't care. And they can sometimes feel better about themselves when they're hurting you. They're hypersensitive, so they see themselves as a victim. They are in defense mode all the time. They're very defensive creatures. And so they will react very poorly when they feel attacked themselves. And because they're so super sensitive, anything, just almost anything can set them off, and anything can be perceived as a threat. You put a coffee mug on the coffee table and they see that as a threat. You did that on purpose. You move the hairbrush from one bathroom to the next bathroom. You just forgot to put it back. You did that on purpose. They feel attacked. You forgot to mail the mortgage out. You just left it on the kitchen counter. You did that to hurt their credit. And so narcissists are super, super hypersensitive. Their world is very, very fragile. They rely on dominance and control and power to feel emotionally regulated. They are very controlling creatures, very distrustful creatures, and they lack empathy. They also lack whole object constancy. So that means that any little bump in the road, you go from being a knight in shining armor to absolute zero, nothing. They go from saying they have trust in you on Monday, and by Friday they have no trust in you. And this is a theme in your relationship. It's up and down. They love you one minute and then they distrust you the next minute. You are the apple of their eye one minute and they're cheating on you the next minute. So these are some of the reasons that narcissists are so mean, and these are some of the traits that we need to be aware of in relationships. And we need to identify these traits in our relationships so that we can move out of them quicker when necessary and not waste so much time in toxic, up and down, one-way relationships in which we are dealing with someone who positions themselves as a victim, and who so easily perceives the slightest conversation or the slightest act as an attack. Namaste, everybody. Until next time, I so hope this has been helpful. Bye for now. Hey, if you love this content, don't forget to check out the next video, and you can go to my website and take the codependency quiz.